Positive psychological approach to workplace. Yes, we are going to discuss about this in this presentation. Welcoming everybody to a wonderful psychological mental health workshop presentation for you. So, what exactly is mental health, and specifically worksite mental health, both for managers and the owners? You remember, there are a range of problems that people suffer, and it depends on the different hierarchy of an organization, on what position of the organogram that one person is actually occupying it. So, with different ranges, different hierarchies would have different sets of problems. So, the range of program, be it worksite wellness, health promotion, organizational factors, clinical services, anything and everything will take a backseat altogether, and that is which we need to understand thereby. So, what are the problems and the objectives? First and foremost thing, let us try to diagnose the problems. Now, this can be MOD or MDD, as the case might be, is majority of the depressive disorders, or generalized anxiety disorder, GAD as the case might be, as per Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of American Psychiatric Associations. There are broad range of problems which are hassles, feeling anxious, feeling sad, family stressors. We are talking about problems at the workplace in terms of stress, morale, cohesion, absenteeism. Now, what is my objective? My objectives are very simple, very clear. I want to reduce absenteeism, or in other words, I want to increase presentism, increase morale, productivity, and probably customer feedback. Customers should be satisfied at the end of the day, and customer satisfaction depends on the well-being of the employees. So we need to raise the reputation of the company at a good place to work for, at a progressive mindset, a reliable source of products and services, reduce the healthcare cost. No wonder what mental health major driver itself and contributed to the physical health cost thereby. So let us assume what is the various layers. Now please understand, as in layers, I have fragmented into policies and practices, into worksite based resources and activities, and the clinical services. Under policies and practices, we can talk about the human resources activities, the clarity of goals, the clarity of roles and responsibility, the supervisions and the reporting relationship, the amicability among the relationship, organizational climates. Then comes the worksite based resources and activities. For problems, we all have what? We all have workshops, we all have classes, we all have group programs, promotional campaign, as the case might be. In terms of clinical services and resources, for diagnosed problems, those needing professional cares, we are giving employee assistance programs, as in the professional care services have been given. Adequate behavioral health coverage has been covered, has been mandated by the federal government. Family coverage, adolescents and spouse mental health often are a major drivers to an employee's health care cost. Now, what are these layers? Be it policies, be it worksite resources, be it the clinical services. What are the requirements? The sole objective is to reduce absenteeism. The sole objective is to increase presenteeism, increase morale, increase the reputation of the company, and probably reduce the healthcare cost thereby. So, worksite as a community, yes, we can have a range of an activities, and in terms of peer support groups, individual activities, incorporate mental health into a general management practices, quality circles. We can have company investment in resources, workout rooms, a small gym, probably a swimming pool, a restaurant out there, a quick bite restaurant that can be given out present. We can have nursing mothers can have attend to their children's, lactating mothers can have a creche for themselves. We are looking for attractive private rooms for group meetings, healthy vending machines, facility for a health diet, and so on and so forth. Now, these are the range of activities, and I am saying not related to the line of work. Yeah, I am saying just for the well-being of the employees. Many companies are owning them. They have their basketball court. They might have a swimming pool. They might have a gym. They might have a quick bite restaurant within their premises. They might have a creche. They might have a washing or a laundry area altogether. This is to facilitate the the employees thereby. Organization and governance, employee engagement in program directions and implementation, employee steering committees, workplace wide in small companies, within units in a larger companies, wherever possible, whenever possible, choices by employees, as into the purchase of their breakout rooms, equipment, topics for monthly wellness meeting in terms of quarterly journals, in terms of monthly magazine, in terms of daily newspaper, in terms of the tidbits that people actually accrue to. Advantage of community is smoking cessations. Probably at St. Louis, this is one of those things wherein people started putting smoking altogether as a habit, higher quit rates among those exposed to a broad campaign, and then those who have been joined the class to help them quit, as the case might be. Let us look at the contracted services vis-a-vis the company services. In contracted services, here comes the professional, the service provided by organization primarily focused in providing health and mental health care. We are talking about fixed cost, wherein the cost has been prefixed at the very beginning of the arrangements. Reduced management burden definitely is, and there is a sense of confidentiality, and probably this is why, where there's a third party been involved, the vendor comes and does their mental health wellness program, and probably the employee can confide their issues, their problems, their apprehensions thereby more openly when they would have done it to their with their supervisors or company or people from the payroll of the company. Company-based services are direct management of nature, quality of services, reflect corporate culture, connect with worksite, employee-based activities and services, opportunities for leadership to set the tone. For example, link with a broader organization initiatives, morale, quality control, etc. The question, to what extent is the mental health, morale, a core concern for businesses? If you look at it, it's a low-tech manufacturing contract out for the core businesses, blending other type of services as the case might be. Now we talk about the wellness and the related services perspective of employees vis-a-vis the management. For management, stress management to teach employees skills that will increase their productivity and probably decrease absenteeism. For employees, stress management is to fix my boss, as in what it's a knee-jerk reaction that comes around it. Framing and promotions organized around more common concerns. Let's say your weight problem, your exercise, feeling down, rather than a clinical concern of diabetes or depression. We are providing company time for activities, assuming gains in productivity will balance out on the lost time. Obviously, yes. Develop with the employee inputs and the employee exemplar in the promotions. Critical role of the supervisor, endorsing versus crushing permission, roles of a manager as a participant, setting the tone, clarifying the commitment then and there, as on when on if we want to go across it. We have this thing called the camaraderie support, the team support, the peer support if we want to go around it. The individual can, I repeat, the individual can has a support in terms of successful cognitive behavior therapy post or depression, probably implemented by non-professional health workers. Range of services may be promoted, navigated in terms of insurances coverage, in terms of available support services, support health reason. We can also impart training depending upon the service. The training can be around fixed hours, which might be prefixed at the beginning of the month of the quarter, as the case might be. Need for coordination. Now, why are we looking for mutual support? Because this will enhance a sense of spirit of trust among the employees, thereby train the individuals to promote mutual support activities. Pause. Group of co-workers focused on wide range of topics, exercise, shared interest. Let's say the mom groups, the cat lovers, um, the honeycomb weavers, anything somewhere down the corners. If you are looking at the foodie as a group, so you can have a groups Objectives is everybody will have someone on the work shift in which they can share their same, probably share, have a common values by themselves, within themselves, where they can confide, call, and so on and so forth. This is what we are akin to a corporate cultures, as the case might be. Now, why do we have in charge of such kind of scenarios? What is it that comes around it and probably doesn't make any changes thereby? This is one point that needs to be taken into consideration every now and then. First and foremost, if we look into the orientation, the stress is a normal thing that we do. We can give a homework in the form wherein we says, can we have a stress inventory for yourself altogether? How well are we to cope away with the stress? We can have in charge sessions of stressors, what we react, how we react, and can we manipulate what we think? Can we keep a tab on our thought process in terms of a global belief? What is how we think? Can we monitor our global thoughts, our global belief? Can we widen our horizons and probably make it a point that everything can be manageable no matter what? There can be current recurrent stressors and so on and so forth. Similarly, there are certain key behaviors to change. We need to develop skills over a period of time, with homework leading to the next session, leading to the homework, and it goes continues. You are basically ensuring that the employee gets engaged and hooked up into one activity and doesn't get sucked into the depression mode. So making it mine, owning it up, integrating as and when on follows or follow through has to be taken off thereby. Let us talk about developing health promotion as a part of our worksite community. This is something that people fail to address, or let me allow me to say, are very shy to address. Let us begin with the employee, with their perception, with their requirements. We can have a town hall meeting. We can have a common ground. We can have an open day in our organization with a web bulletin board, employee steering committee. Look for decisions to turn over. Consider placement outside the HR or the health services thereby. Production managers as a management lead introduces the company, the management requirements as a part of a mix. Now, this is a program where we need to understand what is the traffic, what is the content, what are the promotion events, and we can have an informal get together wherein people can probably get themselves relaxed and probably can open up, and probably they can be a part of a new age customs that everybody would actually appreciate over a period of time. So, a poor organization workplace plays a significant role. Let's say the content of work, it can be the workload, it can be the participation control. We are talking about the context of work in terms of the role of the organization, the reward, the equity, the interpersonal relationship, the work environment, the work culture, if I may say so, the homework interfaces, as the case might be. These are the things that needs to be addressed every now and then. Well, let us look at the content of the work. Now, in terms of workload, is it that a person is expected to do not only one man job, but perhaps two man jobs or 1.5 man job? What I want to stress upon here is it the excessive workload. Is the man, is the person, is the woman bogged down by the workload itself, or the other way around, wherein there is lack of work, insufficient work altogether? So you need to balance the extremes. So lack of participation control is the inability to participate in decision making, inability to choose how to complete a work. We're talking about job contents in terms of a monotonous task, in terms of an unpleasant task, in terms of an aversive task. Killer combination is high demand with low control. This is what we should always avoid. Now, context of the work is a role in an organization. You know, you might be at a hierarchy when we're higher ups and you have different set of problems. You are at the lower end of the hierarchy, at the bottom down, you have a different set of problems. At higher ups, you might be flushed with money, but probably you are working with deadlines at place. in the lower up you might not be pushed down to the throats because of the deadline, but then you have the dearth of money also that needs to be taken into consideration. So that's the role conflict that comes around it, low role ambiguity that comes around it. Everybody comes on is experiences stress in one form or the other. Lack of reward is lack of recognition of the work through salary, low status, inadequate social support as the case might be. Inequity is lack of fairness, wherein you don't trust what has been happening is in the right fashion in the first place. Perception that the workplace is not just equitable in terms of workload, in terms of salary, in terms of promotion. You see there's a biasness. You see people are being given favors and so on and so forth. Poor interpersonal relationship. Now, this is where you don't have supportive supervision. Poor relationship with colleagues, bullying, harassments or violence, isolated or solitary work as the case might be, working environment and condition, inadequate physical environment, example noise, pollution, light, danger. We are talking about irregular working hours, shift work or excessive working hours. Workplace cultures are all about poor communication, all about poor leadership, all about lack of clarity about what needs to be done, about the workplace objectives and the structure. And then we have a home work interface which might be conflicting with both the places. Either you are not leading your domesticity life in a perfect amicable condition, or the work life the other way around, and there is no balance between your personal life and a professional life. So there are conflicting demands thereby. So lack of support at work from home, or lack of support for work at home as the case might be. Yes, the strategy is a part of overall mental health policy. I will give you a website where you can always refer back in the subsequent slides. Increase awareness of mental health issues. This is one major concern. If you're aware that you are suffering from certain mental health issues, half of your problem can be taken care of. Support employees at risk. Provide treatment for employees with problems, changing the organization of work, reintegrating employees with the problems into the workplace as the case might be. Mental health policies and programs in the workplace. Now we talk about beneficial policies. Encourage employees to use their vacation, send employees home when they are sick, use lunchtime for social activities or walking with colleagues as the case might be. Allow employees to take 15 minutes power nap. There's nothing wrong in it, right? A power nap probably might be frowned upon in the earlier times, is quite acceptable in today's work environment. So there is something that needs to be reversed, as in sleep as a weakness and sleep deprivation as an inhibition. So set out the task expectation, normalize talk about stress, and stress is a part and parcel of the modern life. What are the beneficial policies? We can have a quiet space for relaxation. Absolutely, yes. There might be people who would love to spend time all by themselves. Train managers to recognize the signs, the symptoms of mental health problem among team members. Team building with physical activities like walkathons, like a picnic, like a get together, like an open house, meaningful retreats, initiate dialogues around workplace values, cultures, mental health. A clear leadership shows the way. It is the way and the confidentiality around it. So what we can do, yes, we can do. One of the best thing is to inculcate everyone into the wellness program, involve the employees, solicit feedback from the employees, let them speak about the stress, let them own up the problem, let them discuss what they love about the workplace, and you will see there's a marked difference in their attitude. They will feel much happier, they will feel much accepted in the workplace. You have to reinforce the positive experiences from other companies that might be adopted. Create a workplace wellness committees as the case might be. Yes, because of the pandemic, I have actually included this particular slide to make you understand what is PPEs. Provide personal protective equipment, help the employees to understand that they are working in a very safe environment. The office space is a nice space, is a warm space, is a loving space. give them this ambiences and you will see their productivity. Provide assurance that the employees will be notified if colleagues get sick. Require customers to follow prescribed safety personal hygiene practice. Provide assurances on cleanliness, on disinfecting practices. Provide a clear response. Shut down protocols if someone tests positive. Promote and enforce social distancing. Require mandatory testing for employees returning to work after being out of sick with COVID. Provide a method for employees to give feedback on COVID 19 practices, policies, and so on and so forth, as the case might be. All about it. Let us talk about the professional services. Let us talk about the clinical services. These are people who are very much good at their works. So they might have an human relationships. We can have an employee assistance program or EAP, employee insurance coverage for behavioral health, anything that comes with the mental health, anything that comes with physical health centers, we can always get in touch with. We should be able to access the primary care providers at a short note per se. So mental health resource, did I say I will give you a link to the mental health? Here comes the link. You can go to the website go.unc.edu/MHR mental health related problems. This is a mental resources for peers, staff, and all employees. Again, I repeat the process. Go.unc.edu/MHR. There are approximately 11 modules, PowerPoints for the webinars, which is all about sleep disturbances. I would love if all the audiences of this particular video can go to the sites and access those this webinars all together at their leisure times. We will be talking about low mood, point number one, low mood, point number two, in terms of modification and changing assumptions, problem solving, and getting a giving fixed. We are talking about getting back in the game, coming re energized, reinforcing your beliefs, your trust, your faith, misuse of food and substances, problem solving and coping with temptation, anxiety, type and ways to manage, post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, problem solving, psychological aspirant, social skills, family skills, relationship skills, skills for everyday problems, social support, getting and giving, and changing assumption. Cognitive theories are all about it. We come to the very last slide of the day. You need to understand there are many choices in the developing worksite mental health. We need to take decision that reflects positivity for the organization missions and objectives, nature of business, general role of the workforce in the organization, nature of workforce and the cultures in the organization thereby. And that is what we all should strive for. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.